Julian Pierce is joining us. He's a radio reporter. Julian, I understand you were inside the Bataclan Theater during this concert that American rock band Eagles of Death Metal were performing, but now you've made it outside. Tell us what you've seen and what you've heard.
Well, I've seen two terrorists, from my point of view, with AK-47 Kalashnikovs entering the concert room and firing randomly to the crowd. People yelled, screamed, and everybody lied on the floor. And it lasted for 10 minutes, 10 horrific minutes, where everybody was on the floor covering their head. And we heard so many gunshots, and the terrorists were very calm, very determined, and they reloaded 3 or 4 times their weapons. And they didn't shout anything, they didn't say anything, they were unmasked. They were wearing black clothes, and they were shooting at people on the floor, executing them. And I was luckily at the top of the stage, in front of the stage, so people started to try to escape, to walk on people on the floor and to try to find an exit. And I found an exit when the terrorists reloaded the guns in the meantime, and I climbed on the stage, and we found an exit. And when I went on the streets, I've seen 20 to 25 bodies lying on the floor, and people were very badly injured, gunshot wounds. And I took a small girl, a teenager. She was bleeding very badly, and I ran with her for like 200 meters, and I found a cab, a taxi, and I let her in, and I said to the cab driver, "Go to the hospital." And I have some friends right now who are still inside the Bataclan, who are hiding because they're not sure if there is any terrorist in there, and they're hiding in some kind of room in the dark, and they text me, and they're very afraid, of course, and they're waiting for the police to intervene. But it's been over 2 hours now, and this is terrible. What happened was terrible, terrific. I mean, honestly, 15 minutes, 10 minutes of gunshots firing randomly in a small concert room. I mean, the Bataclan is not a huge concert room. It's a small one. I suppose 1,000 people were there maximum, and it was horrible.
Julian, were these terrorists, and you say you saw 3 or 4 of them, you say they were dressed in black, were their faces covered with masks?
They were not wearing masks. I mean, they were unmasked. I've seen the face of one guy, of one terrorist. He was very young. He was like 20 years old, 25 maximum. He wasn't wearing a bear or something. He was like a random guy holding a Kalashnikov. That's all. And they were not masked.
And did you hear any words coming out of his mouth? Was he speaking in French or Arabic or anything you could discern?
Nothing. I've heard nothing. Just the yelling and the screaming of the people. But they didn't shout anything. They didn't say anything. Not Allah Akbar or something like this. They said nothing. They just shot. They were just shooting to people.
So they weren't questioning anyone who they were. They would just look at someone and shoot and kill them. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
And you say
Correct.
You saw 20 people shot and killed, at least 20 bodies there on the floor of the theater?
Yes. I can confirm that. Some of them were dead. Some others were very badly wounded. But it was a bloodbath.
And Charlotte, she's a reporter with France 2. She's got an update on this hostage situation unfolding at the concert hall, the theater there in Paris. And what are you learning?
Well, listen, I'm standing on the boulevard just behind the Bataclan. You can see right now people running like really fast, apparently being evacuated by policemen all around the area. Basically, it's been shut down from all over the place, and they're evacuating people. We've been just walking around in the neighborhood to arrive here, and indeed we had like policemen with guns like pointing at us and saying like, you have to go down on the ground, move away. So they're evacuating all the area, apparently way beyond where the which is really like 100 meters away from where I am, but it's impossible for us to actually get in and see anything. What we can see is people running, really scared. I've been watching in the area, and basically people were talking on the phone because this is an area where people go out at night, on a Friday night especially. This is very popular for young people like mid-30s in Paris, actually going into those cafes, going into this concert hall. This is very, very popular. So basically right now the area is totally blocked, totally locked down by many police forces. I've seen many of the emergency trucks running up and down. Apparently also some medical teams were hiding behind buildings because apparently they were it was not secure enough for them to actually move forward towards the concert hall. So really what's happening now is a situation of total lockdown around one of the most busiest area in Paris over the weekends. And it's really very, very impressive to see all those policemen running around, shouting at people, heavily gunned. We have no idea what's going on. Basically, I've been hearing the reports about what's going on, the hot space situation in the Bataclan, but here it's the total silence. What we can hear is some scream. We don't know where they're coming from. We heard some gunshots earlier on as well, but it was very hard to tell from what direction it came from. And so it's very difficult to describe, precisely what's happening, which is clear. What is clear is that it's like a under siege kind of Paris right now that I'm witnessing.
I'm joined on the phone right now by freelance journalist Seth Porges, who was near one of the incidents. Seth, which incident were you near, and what can you tell us?
Yeah, so I was right at the incident at La République neighborhood in the 10th, which is where a shooting that appears to have been a Kalashnikov shooting went off. It happened directly in front of the apartment I'm staying in. I was walking out of my apartment, and I actually saw somebody with a bandage around their arm and a large amount of blood dripping off of them. I have no idea if this was related. Fire department took him away into an ambulance. Still, it looked to me immediately like maybe he had cut his hand on glass. I didn't understand what had happened or if anything serious was going on. I walk about 10 paces, and there's a large crowd of people and a lot of police. And at first I thought it was any sort of police activity that might occur. It's a Friday night in a very popular bar and nightclub and restaurant district. And then I see police with guns hiding behind vans. As I said, it looked like a scene from an action movie. It almost didn't look real.
And Seth,
yes.
The event you're talking about is the one in the 10th district across the street from the Petit Combage restaurant?
I'm not sure what. I got away from there, so I can't verify the name of the restaurant, but that's probably it. It's right at Canal Saint-Martin next to La République Plaza.
Okay.
So I get there, and there are cops with what appear to be guns in their hands, sort of hiding behind vans. Dozens and dozens of firemen running around every which way. Appeared they were attempting to close off the road. There was a large group of pedestrians, onlookers at this point, taking photos and just looking, and I don't think anybody realized the severity of what was happening or if other events were occurring concurrently. People were standing on benches, taking pictures. Nobody was trying to clear out the pedestrians. If you just glance, you would have thought it was a bar fight. And then people started talking, and it appeared there were 5 or 6 shots in short succession that went off very quickly, and that there were probably fatalities. I heard differing reports on the street that people were shot in a restaurant and in a car. Looking online, it appears the restaurant is the accurate one, though.
And Seth, you heard the gunfire itself coming from the restaurant?
No. It happened about 10 seconds before I stepped outside and happened directly in front of my apartment building. It was not a bomb. There was no bomb over here. I would have heard that in the building.
All right, Seth Porges, thank you so much. Stay with us.